Could you talk a bit about the organizational structure at Alm.Brand? Responsibilities, roles, relations, where does your team fit in?
Yeah, I can, but as I mentioned, I think it's another talk on its own. But if I can put some brief words on it, and I didn't mention this in the talk, but one of the things we've done, first of all, in the very top of our organization, we have an inspiring leader who's called Christian Hjort Madsen. And he's kind of been the front runner and implementing this structure, this way of working in the organization. So the most important thing about our organization is that we have absolute top level support and understanding for this way of working. So that also kind of gives us a leg up. So that would be the main thing about our organizational structure. Another thing we did is then we broke down some silos. So we don't have an IT department. We have a department called business development and digitalization, I think. But basically that means that we broke business development down, broke IT down, and took all those people together and said, you're doing the same thing, let's do it together. Or we're doing the same thing, let's do it together. We have used the framework which has been referred to as the Spotify model, which I intentionally did not mention. That's a whole different discussion in itself, but we're working basically in teams or squads, and then we're organized also in a chapter with the competencies. So for example, we have and that's a UX and development chapter, so where we meet and kind of where we share, of course, our capabilities and our interests. And so we have that department also. Yeah, but I think to really dive into the organizational structure, it would be a talk about as long as the one we just had.
But it sounds very interesting, right? Also because I can see it in a lot of organizations, it's an issue, right? Because UX starts as a grassroots movement, and then at some point you need management support for it. And it's so interesting to hear that you already have that support, right? Because then I definitely believe that you can drive it very far in actually integrating UX much more in the development process. Yeah,
and we were super fortunate to be put on that, because it's kind of the UX's role quickly becomes the one of also kind of the data analyst and the ones getting the insights. And so I think we will suddenly get a lot of really strong arguments. And when we then also dare to give those arguments to whomever might ask disregarding their kind of rank in the company, then that has garnered some good results, and actually also allowed us to grow, not just emotionally, but also physically, getting FTEs in a time where it's not easy to become, or an FTEs, of course, more employees. Full-time employees. We've actually grown with, I think, 2 or 3 people since we started the transformation. And
how long, like the transformation, how long has that been going on? Like how far? Just year-wise, month-wise?
I think actually 2 years this month is the date. I started here, and Christian Hjort Madsen started here also in September, I think, of 18. Yeah. And then it went over Christmas, and then really started maybe in Christmas or January 19. So it's been a ride. Yeah,
but I think it's so nice also to hear that you actually like stick to it, because I hear a lot, and I've also worked in organizations, right, where we've tried to make an agile transformation, and at some point, due to a lot of different things around the company, of course, that they stopped it because they just need to have like very focused, focusing on the development and focusing on the launching stuff. So keep an eye on the agile, and also like have that thrive within the company. I think that's quite interesting.
And that also part of the story. Now, of course, I'm not going to paint a completely rose and red pictures. It's super hard, and we're still doing our baby steps. And also, this is not the first time agile transformation or transformation towards team-driven small deliveries. I think it's actually been tested 3 or 4 times before, and then been rolled back. I do believe that now we're at a point where we've gone so far that I don't see any way that it can be rolled back. But we can still observe, of course, sometimes if we don't really cherish that way of working, if we don't care for it and really do it, then we're gonna automatically fall back into some old rhythms. So yeah, we have to be super careful about that.
to hear, right? That it's not the first time. It's actually like a process of trying again and again and again. And that's also a very agile approach, right? So nice.